So it's a loaded SEC slate for week 4. Look, I am so excited about this Florida-Tennessee game. I do feel Texas A&M and Arkansas is the game of the weekend. But the reason why the Tennessee game is what I want to lead off with is that this will be the first real all eyeballs on him moment for Hendon Hooker in 2022, and I feel as if this is a make or break game for him, a quarterback who's playing really, really well, and Anthony Richardson, a quarterback who is not playing well at all. First, obviously, right off the jump, Auburn versus Missouri. That is obviously the all who will get fired first bowl between a Brian Harsin Auburn team that got throttled last week at home by Penn State, and a Missouri team under Elijah Drinkowitz that right now has looked a lot worse. I thought that they would have a little bit more fight in them. I know they beat Abilene Christian last week, but this roster just wasn't as good as I initially thought. I am going to lean the under in that game. Obviously, Auburn not starting TJ Finley there is a very interesting, situation with the injuries to him and Zach Calzada. Will they play the Griner kid? I don't Griner, or will they stick with Robbie Ashford at quarterback? I think that's obviously a very big question mark for that game. But obviously, Tennessee and Florida, you saw some other games mixed in there versus non-P5s. I think the most interesting non-P5 matchup in this slate is Tulsa versus Ole Miss. That's a Tulsa team that has a really good offense. I know they're 2-1 right now, but they've been able to put up points in all 3 of their games, as have the Charlotte 49ers. I know Charlotte at 1-3 going up against South Carolina is very, very interesting. A lot of tension amongst Shane Beamer after last week's debacle in many different facets. They did play Georgia and they did play Arkansas the week before. I still think South Carolina wins, but keep an eye out for that matchup. And obviously we're going to spend most of our time today focusing on the big SEC versus SEC matchups, okay? So Alabama-Vanderbilt is a game that obviously Alabama will roll. Obviously the big question is, will they cover the 41? I think that they do, but you honestly can't really ever know in those situations. But now we get back to Florida versus Tennessee, and this is a matchup where I actually like the Gators to cover, right? Look, I know they didn't look too great last week versus USF, and obviously before the season, I picked Tennessee to win the SEC East. That is probably not going to happen with the way that Georgia's looked, but we shall see. I do think Florida finds a way to keep it close, and I do think this game with an over-under set at 62.5 can be a tad bit clunkier. So I like the Gators to cover in that spot, and I also like the under in that matchup, even though, as many of you know, Tennessee's offense likes to go very, very, very fast. But if Florida can establish the run, obviously they have a really loaded running back room, but Anthony Richardson is just playing so bad right now. I think Florida can find a way to potentially get this game into a little bit of a slower pace and find a way to keep it close. So I actually like the Gators to cover in this spot, even though they are on the road. I'm looking at you. Yes, you right now, okay? So really quickly, if you've not watched a whole lot of the Tennessee offense, they are really fun to watch, and what they do a good job of is just throwing to the right side. Honestly, that is where most of Hendon Hooker's throws go, and if you respect their running game, Jabari Small and that crew, they are really, really, really talented. They got a true freshman running back from Louisiana whose name slips my mind. He's a burner as well. I mean, their running back room is just really good. And I know we think Tennessee, you think Cedric Tillman, you think Josh Heupel, you think Hendon Hooker, but their running game is also really difficult. I mean, look, Tennessee, they are best defensively when they blitz, and you have to make them pay for it. And if Florida can do that, there could be some opportunities for them to hit some plays. Boom! I'm looking at you. Yes, you. Okay, I got to get you again because I'm so excited to talk about these Razorbacks going up against Texas A&M, and who could forget last year? I mean, really one of the first big wins of the Sam Pittman era. I know A&M was banged up at quarterback, but Calzada turned out being a better option than Haynes King anyway. And obviously, Arkansas fans, you remember this shot to Traylon Burks. My goodness gracious. And look, you don't have Burks to make this explosive play this year, and you're going to need someone else to step up in a big spot versus Texas A&M. So for all of the Razorback fans that did not watch last week versus Miami, don't worry. While I didn't watch the full game, I did watch a bunch of extended highlights, and I will also tell you that I have watched every throw very closely of Max Johnson's career dating back to his first couple of years at LSU, and I'm here to tell you that he's not that good. I mean, obviously, A&M's defense is really good, but I do think it'll eventually come down to Rocket Sanders making a few plays for Arkansas along with KJ Jefferson. I would be worried as a Razorback fan overall on this 4-game stretch. You know, if you really want to make a run for the playoff, and I know I did a video on this not too long ago, you know, you got to go 3-1 over this next stretch of Texas A&M, Alabama, Mississippi State, and at BYU. I'm not sure if that's actually going to happen. I see Arkansas going 2-2 over these next 4 weeks, but I feel as if this game could be the most winnable, and this is the reason why. And I've been talking about this point for so long, but I'll bring it up again here. Jimbo Fisher, when he's away from Kyle Field, has been a disastrous head coach. He has only been able to really move the football on Arkansas the 2020 season when the game was played at Kyle Field. So quite truthfully, I don't know if I could trust Jimbo Fisher to call a decent game in the spot. He might have the better roster in terms of stars. He definitely has that, to be quite honest. But I feel as if Arkansas has the better coaching staff, and I do think that's really big in this spot as well. So give me Arkansas to win this game in a clunker, 21-17. Now, that's obviously the only play I'm going to give this week. I know a lot of Arkansas fans probably wanted me to pick against them, but that is not what I'm going to do right here. A few other things that I find interesting. LSU versus New Mexico. LSU a 31-point favorite, and the total is set at 45. I would just stay away from that. I know that's tantalizing with an over-under being that small, but I would just stay away from that one. I do find Kentucky in a big look-ahead spot here versus a bad Northern Illinois team. 26 points. That seems also very tantalizing as well, but I do think Kentucky has their eye set on a big one on the road versus Ole Miss, and this is back-to-back cupcakes, so I could see Kentucky sleepwalking but still winning comfortably in this one, but as you can see, I'm not in love with this slate. So one of my favorite plays of the week is Arkansas actually getting the job done versus Texas A&M. And here's that play again. This is the staple play of the Kendall Browse offense, mesh rail. If you want to see a breakdown, that's how Arkansas threw their interception versus Missouri State. We did a video earlier this week, and obviously Texas A&M with the worst tackling I think I've ever seen in a Division I game. But yeah, I wonder if mesh rail is actually going to work again this year, and A.J. Green will be out there for Arkansas. So one of my favorite plays is Arkansas actually getting the job done. I'm also, the more I think about it, Auburn and Missouri has just looked so bad. Even with the question marks with Auburn at quarterback, their running game, I think, will be able to move the football, even though their offensive line is really struggling right now. So the truth is, looking at the SEC as a whole, there are a lot of teams that have major major issues, right? And I know if most of you Arkansas fans watching this right now, I know a lot of you are really concerned about your secondary, and you should be. But truth be told, there are a lot of teams with big-time question marks at every position, or at some positions more than others. The only team top to bottom that just looks very, very strong right now is Georgia. So understand that everybody is flawed right now. So I am going to give you Arkansas getting the job done. I do like Florida to keep it close. And one game that could get just a little tricky, Kentucky is in as big of a look-ahead spot I have ever seen, right? You play a cupcake versus Youngstown last week. Now you play a losing record non-Power 5 team in Northern Illinois with a big matchup versus Ole Miss around the corner. I'm just saying that could get a little weird, if you ask me. Charlotte, South Carolina as well. So let me know what your lock of the week is. A fun week 4 slate with a lot of question marks. And let me know if you think Arkansas is actually going to woo pig all over Texas A&M. I appreciate all you guys subscribing. If you know anything about YouTube, you know how important the 1,000 subscriber mark is. So if you've done so, I really, really do appreciate you loving what we've done on this channel. Okay, let me know if you guys want to see anything in particular. It is Power Hour SEC. Boom! And tonight, let's go get some Oreos. Let's go.